So I am now live, but I need to hit so many, so much media going on right now. Uh, oh, man, because I'm on my Red account, so copy and paste. It always requires a thing. We're gonna be officially starting right. Three, two, one. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Tamaya, Namo Sankhaya. Good morning to all of you across the world in Vietnam, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Laos, Myanmar, and good afternoon and into the evening here in the United States to everyone here. So I'm at my dad's office and I just decided to experiment by turning off the lights. The entire room is dark except for this one lamp in front of me. And I kind of like it. Number one, it saves electricity, and number two, it gets everyone's attention. Uh, um, very different background. So, as you all know, that recently my public appearances have been quite rare. Venerable Lee is still a monk. We've been talking about him disrobing as expected, but he's just kind of just lingering around as a monk, waiting for me to depart. I will be traveling to Canada January 10th to the 16th, and to Vietnam on a one-way ticket on the 30th. And today, I just wanted to make some of those announcements and some monastic announcements, plans of travel, and monastic announcements in regards to the monk life so far. And by the way, Merry Christmas to all of you across the world who are celebrating Christmas. I celebrated Christmas yesterday at my Catholic church. It was very festive, very well coordinated with my dad. My mom was in Texas. She came back this morning. And earlier this evening at 6 p.m., I was invited to speak about the teachings of Christ and Buddha. So that's all on my YouTube. And so would like to invite everyone to merge over to my YouTube so that you all get those wonderful good news from the gospel and good news from the Dhammapada. Um, so yes, it's I would describe it as a luxury nowadays to go live and spend this intimate time with all of you. Everyone who's been following me know that historically I've been live, you know, typically every other day or every day in meditating, public display of meditation, and giving Dhamma talks, meeting people, teaching around town, traveling all over Florida. And this life, there's changes in life. Life is impermanent, subject to change, and rarely are they under our control. And so we'll rewind a little bit so everyone kind of catches up. Sometimes, not all of you are well aware of what's been happening lately, but somewhere down the line, Venerable Lee came into my life 8 months ago, and I saw a bright, early praise and promise young man. So I ordained him. I said, I think you should be a novice monk. Pursuant to your training, I think it would be an asset, skill. And thus he ordained. Then he stayed with me in close quarters upon supervision. And now 8 months later, and what I've learned in those eight months. So my travel to Asia will be spent writing a lot, a legacy project. At this point, I think it's good to move towards that legacy project. And come over here, you got my wonderful TikTok fans. All right, sorry, y'all. The phone's got to be over there because I don't have any more places to hold it. Um, and how it's a legacy project because it is also my personal declaration of the lion's roar. Anyone who is Buddhist know about the lion's roar. It declares victory. Um, and I've hid a lot of things from people. How I do a lot of things on my own, buying through my own effort, buying through my own actions, and not waiting around for someone to come and rescue me and rescue us, my students and myself. Um, and some of the things that I've hid from all of you is that throughout my monkhood, I have been working in the arena of law and medicine. And so I kept that from y'all because I just didn't want that to interfere, number one, with your views about me. And it's unrelated to the alleviation of suffering altogether. So I saw all of this project as if there were my own children. All of the students that you all have seen featured on all of my social media platform. And as I get ready to travel and the expense for traveling, I realized how expensive it was and how much money I could have had. Keyword could have had I not have these programs going. Um, but the it was so expensive affording Venerable Novice Lee's spiritual path growth and development. I felt like a biological father and perhaps a young unofficial venerable father to Venerable Lee. And I have learned so much. And the point of all of these students coming to my life, the acceptance of these students, and the ongoing pursuit and endeavor was to conduct research, was to conduct social research onto their lives, their chaotic lives, where we are at with the generation Zoomers, how we can apply the teachings, 84,000 different types of medicine to alleviate their suffering once and for all. And so it was so no matter how much it costed, it was well worth the insight that I have received. And now going back to recordings, untold, unlimited amount of recordings. I have no more storage on external hard drives, and it is now, I believe, up to 8, 12, 20. I think we're at 40 terabytes. Is that right? Terabytes TB? My Gen Zoomers on TikTok? I don't know my computer terminologies. You study 84,000 teachings, you start to forget a lot of things. um, and so I haven't taken a vacation for 7, going on 8 years now. Ever since I became a monk, I just did not travel outside of Florida, only in Florida. Um, so it is much needed break, but it's not that kind of break that you think. I can technically keep on going for the next 50 years, no problem. But I have to. It's good to stop and reflect, and review and rewind. The review part's more important than anything else to see how we can improve and scale Buddhism. Um, my trip to Canada will be meeting with His Holiness, and he is His Holiness to me. And he should be considered His Holiness to some of you. And I'll leave that until I actually arrive and go live with the most venerable, the most reverend and venerable. Um, I think that my values, beliefs, system, mission aligns with this particular prolific monk. And I'm there to ask some questions so that I am secure in the knowledge where Buddhism is going to head, the trajectory that it may travel and go. Because at the time of this talk, it seems quite grim, um, not very promising from my standpoint. I don't really connect much with other Buddhist monks, and they tend to keep to themselves. It's really nothing that big. The festivities of Vesak, the festivities of the Buddhist festivals and fundraisers and vegetarian events, and they're just trying to keep their lights on. Um, and so we've already had Venerable Varapano now in my country, and Venerable Sanata Vihari in Southeast Asia, and I'm not really sure. I'm going to meet up with him. I'm not really sure if he can kind of stay around. He wants to stay around, but there's visa issues and so on. Toronto, Canada. Um, and then the latest public news, which is Venerable Yutatamo leaving Canada. I think he's based in Ontario. He had a place in, don't know where, but if you go to sirimangalo.org or visit Yutatamo Biku on YouTube, there was a public announcement where he was trying to fundraise a meditation center that didn't work out and go to Thailand. And it seems to me a one-way ticket. I think they announced that depending on visa requirements, he's gonna probably have an extended stay. And so now we have 4 venerables that's leaving the West to go overseas. And again, I have not had a direct, long communication with them to know their agenda. But what I have gathered over the past 9 years of my monastic career, it, it, it doesn't look so promising in the regards the sustainability of Theravada Buddhism. How we're going to fundraise to ensure their survival, the integrity, and living continuation of the Theravadan order. And the value of Buddhism here in the United States, whether people recognize who we are, what we do, why what we do is important for our society at hand. I'm just screening in my head. So based upon my conversation with the most venerable in Canada, I will have a better sense of direction and a sense of empowerment and encouragement. Or the total opposite, the sense of discouragement, and whether I'm wasting my time here, and whether something awaits for me on the other side of the world. So historically, I was just very quiet, keep to myself type monk. I just after my grandmother passed away, I just wanted to achieve peace. Then somewhere down the line on the path to achieving peace, I played around with TikTok, and then boom, a million, now 1.3 million following. And everything kind of aligns up the right way, I feel, karmically, the causes and conditions, because I took my education 4 years at Eckerd College, and they emphasize changing the world, how they literally cultivate their students to save the world in some way, shape, or form, and impact in the world. So I came from that, and as soon as the 1 million follower thing happened, I realized, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna just go at this as fast and as big as I can to see if I can scale Buddhism. Of course, I didn't have a lot of data to go with. I'm just being me and doing what I do best, which is just tell people how to achieve peace, and talk about letting go, how to deal with breakups, if they lost someone in their lives, all of the things that. Sorry, I'm getting messages coming in from all 4 laptops. Toronto, I'll be in Toronto, and I would love to hang out with all of you Torontans. If that's even a word. So please text me if you all want to meet in Toronto, January 10th or 11th. This is when the 10th I'll be there, but I think it's at night I'm arriving. So y'all can text me or email me at the number 1 Vietnamese interpreter at Gmail. Okay, so back to what I was saying. So then oh no, the laptop got issues. Sorry, that's been having issues. The So scale, so and it's just slowly as we progress, I wanted to scale Buddhism as much as I could, have programs, the cognitive behavioral therapy program. I mean, potent, short term, big, effective results. It takes effort though. um and takes and as more students came in, I was hoping for additional fundings to you know buy books, and thank goodness to all of the donors who sent in books, so that we have books to give out to students, something they can hang on to. They very lonely, very depressed, very anxious, and the book serves as the Bible. Matter of fact, since today's teachings has to do with the Bible, there's two Bibles next to me. This is the Holy Bible in the Christianity world, but a psychological Bible of CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, by Wilson and Branch. And the $25 a book, and thank you for all of you who sent in books and sent in the donations that you have on my link tree, the link tree / Jidao Monk, Jidao Monk. Um, but there's ups and there's downs, and we monks try not to have these types of talks publicly, where we're laying out monastic finances and issues, just because our job is to just teach, and that we cannot ask for money. The only thing I can ask you for, and Theravadan Buddhist monks can only ask you for, is a cup of water. So our rules really suffocate us. And proceeding on, next year, I just I don't think people can read my mind, so I'm going to be quite outspoken about fundraising and what we need in Buddhism in order to ensure safety first and foremost, and peace in the world. Um, Here, just we see the shootings, we see the youth, the violence in the youth, the gun violence in the youth, the drugs, the fentanyl, the rainbow fentanyl now, and all of these systemic things that's happening in the world, and how Buddhism has a direct clinical benefit for all of that. And in the jails, prisons, in the educational department within our public schools, how we can teach meditation for kids. So the list goes on. The list goes on and on and on, as I have stated before, never ending with human stress. And now, of course, the existence of AI and how we're all going to lose our jobs, and AI is going to replace certain industries, and how we humans are not going to be able to adjust fast enough. There'll be more accumulated despair, leading to imminent success for suicides. So, all of that is on my mind, and I don't know. I'm at a standstill right now with the money, the monies necessary to establish, sustain long-term programs for our humans out there across the lifespan. Furthermore, furthermore, uh, my parents are aging, and every day is I have no choice but to practice gratefulness and have a conversation with karma, which is God, thank Buddha, thank God, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, that my dad has his health at 77. I believe he's 77 this year. Uh, no, hold on. He's not 70. My uncle's 77. My dad is 74, 75, or something like that. And there people who were born in 1950, research shows their longevity only goes up to 60. So my dad is quite of a centennial in the eyes of Gen millennials, myself. And I'm just very thankful that my parents have been helping me on the spiritual path financially. So it bought me time to sit here with all of you 9 years ago, 8 9 years ago, in order to have the more than, I think by now is more than 2,000 videos, um, two or 2,500 videos to publish online for all of you to enjoy, to learn from, to be inspired by, and to help you meditate easier, the spiritual path easier. And was all made possible by my dad, Mr. Kwang Hong, and my mother, Miss Sang Fan, who they're like just little, um they're here. My dad still works here in this very office, and every day I'm vigilant of his health. And I'm thankful that he knows how to take care of himself, being a former doctor of Oriental medicine himself. Um, and he's very bright, intelligent, enlightened man to me. Um, and so, once again, all this is about timing and the affording of the time for me to figure this out so that we can continue this projects ongoing. And yeah, I pray God every day. I pray God, Buddha, Lord, Karma, everybody across the board, Vishnu, Shiva. And I'm like, and then like the anxiety of what happened if my dad suddenly passes away. Then I have to sit here and be the director at the professional social service office and take over cases and take care of my mom. And you all know for certain, for sure, that I will not have time for the monastic life, and the continuation of things. So everything is kind of like hanging on by a thread, uh, and is subject to the vicissitude of life, of this life, and what this life can afford to me and to all of you. So so I hope that my trip lasts long. I hope that my parents stay alive long and still generating the income that they're generating, taking care of their good health, um, so that I can have some of these very necessary conversations. And would be a wise thing right now for the monastics to get together and have the meetings that they want to have the meeting with me and with the council. And we all have to make this quite swift and fast, figure out how we're going to help our community, society, our nation, our state, because the world is crumbling fast, quick, not just within the sila, not just within the threefold training of sila, the gift of safety, samadhi, the cultivation of the heart, and panya, of wisdom, but of also climate change, something that I was promised myself I was going to give extensive, aggressive, deep, extensive talks, sharp talks on it, but have not been able to find the time to do that. And we've seen the effects of climate change across the world, geographically, floodings and volcanoes and earthquakes. And our humans, one thing we all must know about the nature of humans is that we are very slow to change. The organism that we are, and the lawyer that's in our head, impede progress necessary, impede global progress that we need to save our wonderful little green planet, who is not going to be very green for long. And Mother Nature is going to lash out by ocean, by land, sea, and air about what is going to happen. So, Al Gore lately has been emphasizing this. Professor Bjorn Lomborg of the Consensus Center in Copenhagen has been, at this for decades. And now you have me. So we have a lot of work to do, and it can be done with your help and support. And I think most of us here in the West just kind of idle and kind of play around with our time and the leisurely, pleasurable things that we like to do and not doing what needs to be done. Our obligatory, our sense of obligation and responsibility, a privilege to know and a duty to act based upon these things that we're seeing burning in our world. And then, people, they complain a lot about our world. I don't like this leader. This sucks. Gas prices sucks. Food is soaring, cost of living is soaring, da, 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 da. But you're not doing anything to alleviate it. You're just a chronic complainer. So my position is to encourage all of you. Number one, you know, get more active, and if you're not on the spiritual growth and development path, then the least you can do is give and contribute to those who are actively advocating for our fellow neighbors and humans. I just finished this book by Venerable Rahula. It's called "The Heritage of the Bhikkhus," how he encourages the bhikkhus to get more political, and the definition of politics, which is for the benefit of mankind, for the benefit of humans. Um, and both are interwoven into the fabric of everyday life. Where there is life in society, there is going to be politics, and he encourages us to do that. Yeah, I really wanted to do that a long time ago, and I got a little bit into it, and then I had to get out of it, realizing the dangers of it, and there is no financial backing in order to continue the spearhead project. For example, I stood up for LGBTQIA plus, very aggressive in that regards, especially when Florida was really attacking LGBTQIA plus to the point where, what is it? Our mayors here, was it Pam Iorio, said, "Don't come to Florida. It's not safe." They're slamming LGBTQ people left to right. The bashing. Um, it just wasn't a very good thing. So I took it upon myself to stand up, and I said, if they have to go through, if they want to get to you, they have to go through me. And that video received thousands and thousands of feedback. However, there was zero support, zero financial support from the LGBTQIA plus community. So therefore, I realized that maybe I should back off, because number one, I can't afford bodyguards to be with me, and number two, I'm going to get shot very quickly playing this type of politics in this arena without the support of people. um, and people don't realize that the dangers when we advocate for certain groups. um, and so, I was like, all right, all right, all right, well, life is an experiment. This is an experiment, and I should back off from this experiment. And the many talks that I've given conjointly to emphasize urgency in people to act on the subject matter and regards. However, that did not happen. Why? Because this is an individualistic society, all about me, my, and I, my happiness, my. So therefore, the people did not act on behalf of your neighbors. The people did not act on behalf of the happiness, well-being, and healthiness of your neighbors, your people, the interconnectedness and universality of the people that you live, cohabitate with here. So, so these are some of the issues that I'm going to gather my questions for His Holiness up in Canada. And again, trying to find that type of empowerment and encouragement to where are we going to head with this. This is an attempt to change certain systems, um, and the implementation and mobilization of Theravadan Buddhism across America one last time. But I just hope that this message reaches the right ear, the right people at the right time, and hoping to receive that type of a support across the board. And the support for right now has to do with the traveling and the finance necessary for the traveling. Why? How? Because the traveling requires me to go to Laos, Cambodia, Thailand, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, so that I can meet with top senior officials there in Buddhism, and to also hear it and to see it and to feel it in their presence. And basically, it's really hard to get the council together and to have a one big humongous meeting. And it just takes a lot of delegation and communication and in person um, compelling when it is done in person. The weight, nature, and gravity, and emphasis on the urgency of what is happening in the West to present that to people in the East with evidence takes a lot of time, energy, effort, traveling, expenses. Uh, so again, uh, I'm hoping the support is there to buy me time to have these necessary conversations. And then another chunk of funding needs to be there in order for things to take action and, um, you know, establishment of meditation centers. And, that's down the road. Or the sustainability of programs. I just don't know, how that's going to turn out uh, in a prevalent Christian um, nation. So it's just a lot going on right now. Interfaith communities, and also a conversation with the interfaith communities, the spiritual realm, and where the statistical numbers of followers are now kind of like dancing back and forth. They're not sure what they want to belong to, practice, and support, and who is going to be the leading leader um, in America to spearhead the advocacy of human rights, for example, and so on and so on. It just gets more and more. So, anyways, so I'm gonna try to have more public talks with all of you. For those who are new, I know that there's been like 4 or 5 thousand of you new on my YouTube, and I've left you all 1,020 videos and more to come for all to browse how to meditate and the Four Noble Truth, the Noble Eightfold Path, dependent origination, all of the basics in Buddhism have been there for you. And my continuous encouragement to keep at it, keep investigating, keep listening, be convinced, uh, understand and practice and discipline yourself when I am not here, when I'm not here live or with you. But I am with you. You know that. My continuous encouragement when I'm not there, and in honor of the teacher when he's not there. The teacher is trying to save the world. So when he's trying to do that, he wants you to sit at home and look at your defilements, look at the greed, anger, and ignorance of the Four Noble Truths, and try to go at it as much as you can, absorb it. Um, I know that I haven't been able to answer a lot of questions, but it's all there. It all encompasses in the videos. You just have to dig a little deeper. You just have to have the patience and endurance and tolerance, patience, underlined, bold letters to do what all of us have to do. Like I have to do. When I didn't understand the Four Noble Truth, how long I had to dig and investigate and read over and over again to get the point. And that's what I want you to do, is to get the point. And for some of you who wants to meet with me, what I look forward to listening is, number one, your story, how you came to be, where you've been, where you're at, where you want to go, who you want to go with, and how my teachings have affected you, and how Buddhism have affected you, uh, and how long you've been meditating, and that. So I look forward to meeting a lot of you across the world, in Canada and in Southeast Asia, and to sit and unwind and to reflect, and have that human connection, the one-on-one sessions like I always have been conducting. Um, and yeah, that's the other thing to emphasize, that we need funding for the one-on-one counseling sessions. Internet in Southeast Asia, especially Vietnam, Mobi, Viettel companies, it's not cheap. With the, well, like 4 gigs or 5 LT, I don't know what they got going on over there, but it's not cheap. It's not cheap. So it makes it difficult for me to serve the people in the West while I'm in the East, trying to put my monastic agenda together. And so once again, this is to help you all conceptualize the pool of funding necessary for the expenditure, so that we can sustain our programs, so that I can sustain my programs in order to serve the people effectively. Um, just suffering never stops. There's only one monk doing one-on-one sessions. Anyone knows of any other monks out there that does one-on-one sessions, psychotherapy with anybody, who takes out an hour and a half sitting with one person and then cycling through perhaps 30 or 40 people in one day? Yeah, that's 20 patients at least. Um, well, that's like champion status, but at least 10, average 10, right? So you all need to, I hope that you all reflect on this and realize that, number one, most of the time therapy fails people and then they come to me. So therefore I have to be better than traditional psychotherapy and merging Eastern philosophy and cognitive behavioral therapy into the two and figure it out what the truth is in this one-on-one, in this particular human, what they want me to know, how I'm going to get the truth out of them, and how I'm going to use that truth to transform them for change for the better, changing their views, right view, with the noble eightfold path. So again, I just want everyone to reflect on that, and those who have been direct beneficiaries of the one-on-one programs to now think of other people and to contribute, so that we have this ongoing programs. We all know if you want to change the world, number one, you got to change yourself first. And your neighbors got to change themselves, and they can't change themselves if they can't reach the monk to talk to the monk so that they can understand the how. It is the how that I teach: how to let go, how to not be angry, how not to be bitter, how. Recently, out here in the field, in the clinical field, as I'm working as an interpreter, I couldn't tell you all how nasty people are to me. Oh my goodness. And by the way, since I'm live and across the world right now, anyone out there has been a victim of me being mean to you, speak up. I will disappear in Antarctica. What is my point? I have never been rude to anyone publicly, okay? And that I carry myself as an assistant director, as a court interpreter. And by the way, a court interpreter is also an officer of the court, a judicial officer, as defined through by and through our training at the Supreme Court. And so I've never been rude to people, right? This is the saying that the Buddha said: "It is not I that quarrels with the world; it is the world that quarrels with me." Well, I'm walking out there and I realize, wow, how rude people are, which also includes police officers, people at the DMV. Haven't had anyone at the clerk of court yet, but they're quite well trained. Um, the DMV, police officers, not one but two within a month apart, where I'm wearing monastic robes. They had no respect. Uh, so and then who else? But these were individuals in official capacities and within public service, and I was just quite appalled that it's 2023 going on 2024, with all the available books on spirituality and self-help and psychology, people are still this nasty to other people while holding positions of public trust, um, and public office. And I'm just like, wow. So we right now can conceptualize how nasty people are: mean, bitter, resentful, hatred towards others who in the um, community context, or state level context. And of course, you turn on the news and there's your direct evidence right there and then. The new evil, the new types of treatment that people are treating people nowadays, compels us to preserve and compels us to do what needs to be done to preserve life-saving programs and programs meant to alleviate suffering and to make them beautiful again. They are that mean and nasty to people because they don't understand themselves, don't understand the Four Noble Truths. I get it, you know, but here I am working out there wearing, layman's clothes, and that then this is how I conduct my research. By the way, I blend right in with amongst the other humans. You wear this, they don't, they you don't get the truth out of people when you wear monastic clothing. That's how you conduct social research out here, so that we can have that insight in order to pinpoint direct surgical precision on how to fix our society. So again, I look forward to meeting those in Toronto on the 10th or perhaps 11th of January to the 16th. I will be back here in Florida. Anyone who wants to meet with me here in Florida between that time, please reach out to my email. And I look forward to those in Southeast Asia, Vietnam being the first country I will be arriving. Once again, donations are needed, and I can only make a compelling case, cannot directly ask you for donations. So for those who want to see these programs continue in serving the much needed, the poor, the destitute, the depressed, the anxious, um, please make your contributions by visiting my link tree. All of the links are on actually all social media page, and it's just right, it's right there on the top or in the bio. So, and it's a beautiful thing when you all give more and take less. It is a way of uh, feeling good and accessing that memory for the rest and remaining balance of your natural life, knowing that $5, $10, $20 contributed to the betterment of humanity and buying us time to figure in an ever rapidly changing world out here, and the sustainability of monks. The the teachings of the Buddha is expounded by the monastic order. The the Buddha lives by and through us, our practice by and through the oral transmission of the Dhamma. So when you all reflect on a lot of these, you just got to get creative with your thinking and realize that we need all of the support of the people in order to continue Buddhism. It's been going great, 2,566 years. Let's make it a great 2,567 years, and decades more to come. I envision in my dream, I have a dream, just like MLK, that our world is going to be more beautiful, more compassionate, more understanding, more kind, and less judgmental, less nastiness, less provoking, less violence in the world. That's my vision that I have for 2024. And I know that all of us can, and in fact, do it, but we cannot do it. And I cannot do it without the support of the people and the majority of the crowd. So even if you have $1, it's okay. I think sometimes a lot of us don't want to donate because we're like, well, what if he judges this amount? No, no, no. It is your intention behind the gift that has such karmic positive weight uh, to your life and your karmic trajectory. So, like for everyone to reflect on this, you may have to probably rewind and hear it again, so that we don't miss the point of what is happening here in the world. I am jubilant to celebrate next year with all of you. We need to embrace the many challenges that will come given our political climate. But if we all band together, I think we can defeat any type of evil. We can defeat any type of poor leadership that we see. And I really intend on getting more political in 2024. It just depends on the amount of fundings that can afford that type of political participation and involvement. Um, but let's see where it goes. No promises, but it is what it is, and it can't be what it ain't. You know, I'm just at that ripening age to take on the challenges of what the world has to throw at all of us. Um, and again, the Buddha left us 84,000 teachings to help us figure it out and to vote who needs to be voted in office and to kick out whoever needs to be kicked out of office. in order to ensure the welfare of the people. Once again, please continue to meditate and reflect on the Four Noble Truths. Do not abandon your practice. Give more and take less as always. May you have a wonderful rest of 8 more minutes of Christmas. Love your family. Tell them you love them. You don't say enough of it, so make sure you emphasize enough of it, that you are grateful for all of the gifts that they gave you, their presence, not just present, okay? Presence in the room. And every day should be Christmas for all of you Buddhists. Born again and then die again, and born again and die, samsaric formations, samsaric cycles. Death of a thought, birth of a thought, birth of a thought, death of a thought, birth of an emotion, death of an emotion. So create good memories, be grateful, be compassionate, be understanding, be kind to all of you. And I look forward to more live sessions. And you all should look forward to more prepared talks with myself and other monastics. And hopefully I can drag all this laptop with me and hit live up there in Canada. And I think you all gonna get a good laugh how much I'm gonna be bundling myself up in Canada. I don't know the Celsius or Fahrenheit up there, but this particular Asian monk has hypothalassemia, and that means I get cold very quickly and shivering, and it's like a blizzard in my own human body. So you're all gonna see me like, it's gonna be funny seeing me, kind of like creating my own igloo, a walking, talking igloo in monastic robes. So I can't wait to. I've never been to Canada, so hopefully my 1 week there would be meaningful, productive, making progress, and to report back to all of you how my meeting went, and how we're going to have this continuous conversation of where Buddhism is headed and how it's going to help change the world. May you all be well, be happy, be free, and always be healthy. May you all realize the light of your own true nature. May you all be healed and be a significant source of healing for other people. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay. All right, so that's and I apologize for all of the wonderful questions that you all have, and thank you for letting me know it's not that cold. It's warm here compared to normal, global warming and all. Okay, okay, so I feel more comforted, and but I'm still gonna be packing a lot of gloves and stuff, just preparation. I'm one of those doomdays preppers type of guy, but all of and yes, I do support LGBT. I think I just covered that earlier. More teachings on my YouTube, so please visit my YouTube. For all of the TikTokers out there, it's getting late, so I have to wrap this up. I have a 10 a.m. assignment tomorrow, so to sleep in just a little bit. Take care.